Hi, Gerhard Bloom here, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So let's look at the issue of socialism, fascism, and the accusations against conservatives and Trump supporters as being semi-fascist, right? So first, let's look at socialism. What's that all about? Well, why socialism? To control you. Under socialist rule, authority is absolute. This is from Leon Trotsky. In a country where the sole employer is the state, opposition means slow starvation. The old principle, who does not work shall not eat, has been replaced by a new one. Who does not obey shall not eat. Right? Now, socialism, is it the answer? Right? Is socialism the answer? You have many deluded leftists arguing it is. They will tell me that, oh, don't I live in a socialist country? Healthcare, education. This is absolute nonsense. Or the Nordic countries. The Nordic countries and Canada are not socialist countries. They are capitalist countries, right? They fund generous social welfare programs by the wealth that is generated by a capitalist or free market economy. Right, so you don't have to say capitalism like you have a bit of poo in your mouth. Free market's same thing. And did you catch the label free in there? Free, right? Freedom is, socialism is the answer if the question is how to produce the greatest tyranny, poverty, and corruption in the shortest amount of time, right? And often mass deaths, right? Mass deaths. So consider Venezuela, right? Before its socialist utopian experiments, was one of the, if not the richest country in South America. In 2019, it was the poorest country in Latin America and the Caribbean. And needless to say, this is not an easy feat. There are a lot of competitors for very poor countries in Latin America. Venezuela managed to get to first place as being the poorest, right? From the richest to poorest. And this is in a country that has an abundance of natural resources and talent. Absolute poorest country, right? And compare North Korea to South Korea. After the war, the economies were roughly equal, right? And now the GDP per capita of South Korea is 34,758. That's what the average Korean in South Korea is earning, right? And in the socialist utopia of North Korea, $1,300, not $13,000, $1,300. And there have been, great many famines and artificially manufactured disasters in North Korea. North Korea is the world's largest prison camp. People are desperate to escape this socialist utopia, time and time again, right? I mentioned this previously, right? Why did East Germany put a wall around itself? Allegedly to keep out the invaders. Well, except the rifles were all facing the wrong way. Great many people risked and lost their lives trying to escape East Germany, its socialist utopia, and leave to West Germany, capitalist economy, right? Capitalist economy. And we could compare, a great many other former socialist utopias before they collapsed and their capitalist counterparts. China before Mao and China after. And no, China isn't a free market economy now. It's a state-managed economy, but it's significantly liberalized its economy and allowed a degree of free market enterprise. This led to an unprecedented growth in prosperity and wealth and well-being, right? Compare East Germany with West Germany. Compare Vietnam and Thailand. Compare Pol Pot's Cambodia with fucking any place on the planet, right? Absolutely anywhere. And yes, compare the Soviet Union with the United States. Well-being, freedom, prosperity, longevity, absolutely everything, right? And so Biden, in a recent presentation, accused, Trump supporters of being semi-fascist. Well, this is nonsense, right? fascism is not conservatism, right? Fascism, if you study history, including its racialized expression in Nazism, were from the very beginning socialists, right? Hitler was most definitely a socialist. It is right there in the name of the Nazi Party, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, right? Did you catch that little bit about socialists? National Socialist German Workers' Party. Hitler was following Mussolini, fusing socialism and nationalism. And although the founding of the founding of the Fascist Party, Mussolini, before he founded that party, he was a lifelong leftist, right? A lifelong leftist. So rather than fighting for socialism on a global scale, like the communist internationalists, Mussolini wanted a national socialism. Hitler followed suit. Here's one of countless examples of Hitler declaring his commitment to socialism. We are socialists. We are the enemy of today's capitalist system for the exploitation of economically weak, with its unfair salaries, with its unseemly evaluation of human beings according to wealth and property instead of responsibility and performance. And we are determined to destroy this system under all conditions. No, that wasn't Ocasio-Cortez. No, that was Adolf Hitler, a public speech delivered in Munich, May 1927, quoted from Toyland's biography, Adolf Hitler, published 1976, right? Page 306. It's leftist authoritarianism that is the threat here, not conservatives. Conservatives want to conserve, right? They want to conserve freedom and individual rights. It's right there in the name, conservatives, right? In the United States, that means freedom, autonomy, free market capitalism, right? But if, for these socialist utopian dreamings and this Biden administration castigating conservatives and Trump supporters as fascists, well, what can't you do when fighting a fascist or fighting a Nazi, right? Look at what they're capable of. So all the rules are now off the table. And these utopian dreamers, they continue to dream this impossible dream. They think they can bring heaven to earth, right? This is unmitigated hubris, right? And it has brought nothing but disaster. In one century, the 20th century, socialism murdered more than 100 million people. And these people were not killed in war. They were killed by their own governments. Cambodia, China, Soviet Union, East Germany. It goes on, right? So although we can't create a heaven on earth, we can create a living hell. Gulags, concentration camps, mass starvations, torture, murder, all for the sake of realizing a utopia that never arrived, right? What it brought in its stead was hell, right? So and now we see this with the weaponizing of the Justice Department and the FBI to intimidate parents and suppressing the Biden influence peddling operation, right? So if you want to understand this poisonous Marxist ideology, this is cultural Marxism fused with postmodernism. It is a toxic fusion, and it will bring nothing but disaster in its wake. They literally want to tear down the foundations of Western civilization, right? I systematically expose their various agendas, the continuing black oppression narrative, the radical sex and gender ideology, the delusion of Islamophobia, the portrayal of the West of being uniquely evil in human history, rather than Western civilization being the greatest civilization in human history. Oh, isn't that, xenophobic? And is it? No, it's a matter of fact. Western civilization brought democracy, human rights, unparalleled prosperity, Western medicine, Western science. This is Western civilization, right? So, if you really want to understand this cancerous ideology, check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. The facts and the data are there. I thank you for your time. Please do drop thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Share it with your friends, and by all means, check out that book. It's important, not because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thanks so much for your time. Bye bye.